Hi, welcome to English 222 Christian Classics, and I'm so glad to have you in our virtual classroom. To get started, let's first define what Christian literature is. The CBA, which is the Christian Book Association, who pretty much monitors all Christian literature today, would probably not define Christian literature, as it would have back in the old times. In old times, it was about Christian worldview. Did the book actually talk about God or have some kind of allegory or something that kind of pointed back to a Christian worldview? Nowadays, the characters must be Christian, or at least one of them must be, or somebody must get converted to become a Christian in order for it to be Christian literature. But that's not the way it used to be. Robert Davies from Reading and Writing said, "Literature is an art, and as an art, it is able to enlarge and refine our understanding of life." So as you read different things in this course, I hope you'll dig deeper than just the surface level. Sometimes you'll be looking at something and you'll think, oh, that's not really Christian. But if you dive deeper, you might actually find that there is a spiritual message hidden deeper below the words. So give yourself permission to do that. And actually, I'm going to give you 5 simple things that you can kind of help you as you're going through and studying literature. The first one is try to avoid skimming. It's going to be really easy to do in a 5-week course. You're going to be anxious to probably get through some of the material and find yourself skimming over it. I understand that, and I hope that you'll try not to do that so that you can really absorb the material. There's so much in literature that you really want to be able to grasp hold of. The second is summarize as you read. Think through what you've just read and kind of do a little bit of a summary in your head of what that might look like. Third, know your characters. See, characters really are the heart of a story. Your protagonist, which is your hero or heroine, and your antagonist, which is basically the one that is keeping the hero from their want, their desire, whatever is causing the conflict. These characters drive the story, so get to know them. Actually, as you bond with the characters, you'll find yourself enjoying the story even more. Fourth, read the text more than once. Now, I understand in a 5-week course that may not be possible, but after this course, feel free to go back and read it again and experience it more. In this course, we won't get to read everything, but we're going to learn about lots of different things that are out there. I hope you'll kind of make a list, a checklist for yourself, a bucket list, so to speak, of books that you can go back and read and learn more about these wonderful authors that we're going to learn about. And then lastly, look for the literary devices that are throughout each one. The structure, the theme, the plot, the conflict, allegory, imagery. These authors love to use imagery. And so if you can kind of grasp hold of that, you really begin to enjoy the story. I know for me, when I was in high school, and I was learning about Edgar Allan Poe, at first I couldn't stand that author. I was like, what is he writing about? I don't get it. And then someone sat down and they explained to me the other level, the level that was much farther down, and then I began to enjoy him. And so I'm hoping that you'll do that in everything that we do in this course. Don't be intimidated by the text. Sometimes when we read old literature, the words are a little complex and they're in its old language. It can be a little intimidating. Rather, enjoy the journey. And if you don't get it, you can always ask me. You can ask your fellow students in our forums, or you can always go online and do a little research, which is always fun too. But ultimately, what I want you to do is try and enjoy yourself. And I just want to finish the lecture talking about John Bunyan, because that's who you're going to start reading, and you're going to read him throughout the course. He was the author of Pilgrim's Progress. He had over 60 titles, and many of them were sermons. He spent a lot of time in prison. Some people think that he wrote Pilgrim's Progress in prison. And what he was arrested for is kind of amusing. He didn't have a license to preach, and he really wanted to preach. So he would go out and preach despite the fact he didn't have a license, and they kept arresting him for it. So kind of interesting. He wrote an autobiography called Grace Abounding, where he talked about his wayward ways and how he spent times in brothels and just really being a sinful little child. And he liked to compare himself to St. Paul and how he was the chief of sinners. Throughout the course, as I said, you'll be reading Pilgrim's Progress, and this is a significant novel in the English language in that it's never gone out of print, and it's in over 200 languages that it's been actually translated into. And he wasn't really a scholar, but he definitely knew his Bible. And one of his famous quotes was, "What God says is best, though all the men in the world are against it." How true is that? Well, I hope you've enjoyed the lecture this week. I look forward to talking to you for the next four more weeks after this one and getting to really understand the classics. God bless.